I'm gonna fix my wind wing. The worm gear and the ring gear are screwed. Check this out. So the worm gear and the ring gear are screwed to crank that open. I've already taken that off, which is partially fixed. Got stuff out of there, which has oil on there, so it won't go bad. It's only as bad as it's gonna get. Got power windows, that's off. I've built those many times. I've rebuilt that once, and it has failed after 3 years. So the ring gear was really worn, really dry. Someone cranked it so many times when it's super dry and parts fell off it and the gears wore out. And I fixed it, but it needs to be fixed again. It is 2024 and this has been running 100,000 miles since 2020. I drive them. Thumbs up. Here is my wintertime setup. It's kind of comfy. Oh, of course, no kidding, gotta get those things out. And then there's one piece up in here that gets screwed off, and then the whole thing comes down through the case there, and then we pop it open like I did 4 years ago, and I can probably show you some of that old video.
Okay, so I'll show you all the polished and ready to put together items that I've worked on. This is window crank for 1965 Dodge Monaco wind ring, right side. It's been cleaned out completely, tapped, drilled and tapped so we can get this new end on, because these used to be just peened over aluminum, and it gets dried out and the crank pops this out, that goes away and everything dries out and it stops completely working. So polished, cleaned, built that, and it uses there's a washer around here somewhere. Washer, that spring washer. Let me find the other washer, I'll be back.
And then we're gonna try some brazing welding aluminum rod. Look it up online. I think it will work. It's just gonna be fabrication, baby. That's what it takes to drive classic cars all over, everywhere, and quickly. Yep. Love you. All right, cleaned up with a little Uncle Tony juice. And we'll pop it open. I think maybe I'll do it inside. I'll do it here. It's about 40 degrees. But I got enough clothing on. Maybe I don't got to go get my parabolic heater or nothing. So stick around. Cool stuff. More there we go, a little better. There's a silver for something else I was painting and all my good stuff. Let's go see what this is going to take. Here's something. When I was going to college, I had a picture of that vise with a brake cylinder clamped in it, and someone at my photo school said, "What is that?" And I said, "It's a brake cylinder." And they said, "No, what's it clamped? What's it in?" I said, "That's a vise." I mean, wow. Yeah, so popped off my hand-built thingy. Here's the worm gear, which I think this one's okay. What's the problem is this ring gear is beat up, and I got to get that out of there and weld on it. I think it's pot metal. This, I believe, is aluminum. And this is 4 years of, I knew it was kind of bad, but it started to jam up against these. So we're gonna have to clean it out and see which ones we gotta build on. Look at that. That's just all ground out. I'm gonna have to build that up. That's why it did not crank no more. It was getting stuck, even with all that beautiful grease. Well, I try to work in a little bit of sun because it's about 40 degrees. So here's going that. Look, a little coffee. Yeah, like buddy, you're the reason for the Steven season for doing this stuff. Thank you. Plug for you, boy. Can't say enough. So the reason I didn't get into that last time is because, come on, focus, baby. I didn't want to undo those because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, you know, put it back together, and they're pinched in there. But I'll weld them in or pinch in at a different point next time because I got to get in there, get that gear out. So I'm going to bend those back and pop this out. Go. So this is how. That's how I was doing it, clamping and carefully bending it back with that. God, this iPad doesn't have it's not as good as the iPhone. Doesn't have the shake control. So pop that out. Here it is, babies. That's a coned washer. There's probably spring in another washer. And something stuck, so I'll have to take the bolt out, I think, on the bottom. God, stay focused. So, got to take that bolt out, I think. Or something. We'll see. Back to, that's what popped out. And what's in there is a little, like a sea washer that doesn't spin for some reason. And that's just pushed out. It just was just a little bit tight. So I might go inside. I don't know. Let's clean it up and see what's happening. You know what that is? That's a headliner for the 65 Dodge Monaco. That was one of the ribs going across the top and finally fell out after 4 years. It was hitting me in the face, so I took it off. I'm going to try to get some more. I think they do make something like that. They don't make a lot of stuff for that car. They don't repop shit for cool cars. They repop shit for common cars. Sorry. So you see what I'm up against. That's what I got to try to fix with that and some wire. I'll show you. Mini chip. So I used to worry about these digging in to my stuff. So I took a flap wheel and took half of the points off of that. So when I grab stuff, it's not going to get as messed up. And I can also grab it with what you saw. Some of these, those are cheap. And I do use these, but since I'm big welding aluminum, that's aluminum, and it might mess with me. So steel will not take the heat, and I won't get messed up. Let's see what we can do. Probably just I will bend those back, but most likely they will break off, which is, I guess, fine. I'm going to build them up and file them back down. I'll be able to hit down with a screwdriver and stuff and push that out of the way. That's probably a better way to work. We'll see. So, update. So I was banging on it with that and that expensive fucking hammer, and it just cracked right off. So I guess it's a better place to build up from a raw metal like that. It's just it's probably zinc, pot metal zinc. I don't even think it's aluminum. So what I was reading about the brazing stuff that I'll be using, it takes come on, focus. It takes you gotta have it real clean, and then when you get it hot, the brazing material will slough off the oxidized coating, and you gotta scratch with the brazing rod that you're using to get it hot, and the sloughing off will get the oxidation off, and it'll come to the surface as you're brazing. So you gotta agitate with the end of the rod what you're adding onto. So I'm going to just clean this up real good. Sometimes I found when you get down to the nitty-gritty, things look a little easier. At least they do to me. I mean, that's out of where it needs to be, and it's ready to be worked on a little bit. Now we have image stabilization. So this is stuff I found a while ago. I tried to fix my trailer out there and blew a hole in it because it's too thin. Got to be really good to do real thin stuff. So we'll see what happens with this. We're supposed to be heating up to about 780 degrees, and this will flow, and it'll be good. So we did that, and now we got some older rods. I think these are the same. Supposed to heat up to 750. I need to use a finer one. I'm going to use a finer one. I got all sorts of old stuff. She's making noise. Now I gotta light it. Ha! Ooh, that's cold. 40 degrees and everything's cold. Let's see what happens. I got my triple power on. Oops. Not quite sure what happened there. That's what happened. I know I'm gonna blow it. What are you gonna do? Gonna heat everything up. Dry it out, I guess. Seems like there's crap around here. Fancy. Shoot, turkey. Yeah. Not hot enough yet. Gonna try a different nozzle because not hot enough. Damn. Well, what it turns out is that starts to melt when this starts to melt. So, great. I'll bet it didn't stick. Could have stuck. Appears it might have stuck. Seems like it kind of stuck. I could just fill it all in and then build it up. Is that cracking? Looks like I cracked that because it got so freaking hot. Wow. Yeah, I think I blew this out. Jesus. Wow. It's supposed to melt sooner than this stuff. But I guess this pot metal is shitty. Damn it. It appears that this is kind of working, but I don't know if it's stuck to that. This baby is really digging into that. Ridge to ridge, there is about 250 thousandths, or about, what was it, 5.5 millimeters. So, I'll just have to match this stuff up. I think that held together enough. We'll see. And this wheel is so much better. It's not throwing little chips all over the place. Trying different things. Hopefully all that stays on tight. It is pretty damn strong metal. That's what it says. It's harder. It's like mild steel. Maybe a little better, a little more. There was one little piece that didn't stick right in there, and maybe I'll make this out of JB weld. Good. You need better light. It improved. So, all sorts of fine tuning for the connections. Oh, still hitting stuff. Something catches there. Okay, still this stuff right in here. It's either file finally or use the grinder, but I think filing's getting better now. I hope this stuff all stays on there. So here's something funny. So when I went working on this thing, it got melted and big, and it kind of went off to one side. So I had to grind that back down just to get that cap to fit back, because that's what's going to hold it into the bracket. So oh, look at this. It's getting a little better. You think those are going to hold on? I think so. They've been taking a bit. The thing is, that is stronger than the base metal, so they'll probably wear really well. Oh my goodness. Maxed out. The wind wing closes. Maxed out, and this thing comes forward. Ho ho ho. Oh my God. Let's see, we got to get another perspective. Different angles here. So let's see. That's opening. Maxed out, hitting something, stopping on somewhere, and rolling back to closed, and then this starts to pop out because it needs the base plate that someone destroyed. I made a new one, and then the ring gear just finally died. So again, we're gonna open up the wind wing, quarter, halfway, a little more than halfway. Air's blowing in hard. Then we come back, smooth enough, and then it locks closed. It feels okay. Another perspective. Looks bad from there, but it's cold. I think I got it pretty well. So we'll dip it apart, drop that out of there, and have a look. Got to make sure the angles are right. I was on the Cal Poly Solar Powered Race Club in 1990 GM Sun Race, and we built some gears. At least the engineers built some gears that were going to run the solar panels with the belt, with a proprietary design. See how they're not exactly triangular. Anyway, that makes them work better if you ever look into that stuff. So anyway, cool shit. Just a note of interest. If you clean things off before you're finally assemble, you will not see the witness marks. So I only knew that was concave up because the edge of that is the only place that this hit that, and it's concave. So that is the correct way. And if I had cleaned it like I wanted to, I wouldn't have seen that and had to figure it out even more. Put it back together in a little bit of a test. See if everything's good, definite stop there. Definite stop there. I think it's going to be good. Or I can rip it apart and do it again. Kind of buggered that up, but I could JB weld it later if I wanted or something. I hope it'll hold. It may not hold. I think I will JB weld a couple places. My feet are freezing now. It's cold. I usually like it to be there in the car so it can't pull too hard and it closes. Open. All the way open. Crank, 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 crank. Feels a little crunchy, but what the hell, we'll see. I might have to rebuild the whole piece someday. Uh-oh. Well, that was about 4 hours. Sun's down. It's about 40. My toes are cold. I'm going to put it back together. I think it's going to go good. What do you think? Like I said, a little JB weld for backup. Well, listen to the Who with reverb, and seems to be okay. You and me, we fix it. Thumbs up for driving classic cars quickly into the future. Okay, so I'll show you all the polished and ready to put together items that I've worked on. This is window crank for 1965 Dodge Monaco wind ring, right side. It's been cleaned out completely, tapped, drilled and tapped so we can get this new end on, because these used to be just peened over aluminum and it gets dried out and the crank pops this out, that goes away and everything dries out and it stops completely working. So polished, cleaned, built that, and it uses there's a washer around here somewhere. Washer, that, spring washer. Let me find the other washer, I'll be back.